والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, as I mentioned in the last episode, we've kind of reached a point in chapter 1 where the new vocabulary, or not, I shouldn't say new vocabulary because there is new vocabulary, but the conversations have come kind of to a close. So this was a Dars al-Awwal, so Dars al-Awwal has finished. So now we are at the second Dars, right? So Dars al-Thani. So this is the Dars. And so the second lesson, and I think there's a third lesson as well, they are not focused too much on brand new vocabulary. Rather, it's focused on kind of reinforcing your knowledge of the conversations and of the vocabulary you learned in the conversations already. So I know that there are some people, and if I were taking this class, I would probably be one of these people who I don't like to review things. I would just, it's more interesting for me to learn brand new content, right? And especially if you're younger and or you've been practicing a lot, you might not even need to review. But there are new words to learn in this video, and and if you do need the review, I want to give you the ability to go through the review. So let me give you an idea of what I'm talking about. So if you guys remember, this section here used to say like al-hiwar al-awwal, unzur wastami' wa'id, but these headings in this section are different now. So there's a lot of new words in the headings giving the instructions on how to do the exercises. So I won't actually go over the exercises. This is something that you can do on your own time, right? I'll put in the time to make the videos, and then if you need it on a need basis, you take the time to do the revision, right? So this is kind of our relationship in this class, the give and take relationship. I have to give some stuff, and then you have to give some stuff too. So if you need it, and if you want to do extra revision, so like when I was teaching this same class to people in my family who are a little bit older, they did need the revision, right? So it was too much for them to take in just the conversations. I went through the revision, and it was very easy for them. So without further ado, let's just get into the new vocabulary so that you know exactly how to do these exercises. And then go ahead and do the exercises if you need it. If not, then just take the new vocabulary you learned and add it to your toolbox of conversation abilities. So here we have al-mufradat. And we've never seen this word before, I don't believe. Al-mufradat is the vocabulary. So we've been talking about vocabulary, right? Al-mufradat is how you say that in Arabic. So this is very convenient. Like if someone asks you, what do you study? Ma tadrus, you would say al-mufradat. I'm studying the vocabulary, right? So this is quite convenient here. So al-ard, we know al-ard is like a presentation or a demonstration. Unzur wastami' wa'id, these are words that we are quite familiar with already. So no need to translate these. If you forgot, go back in your notes and take a look. So here you can see the rest of the page is all old words, okay? So I'm not going to go over those. Like I said, if you need the revision, go ahead and do the revision. Here we have at-tadrib, okay? So at-tadrib, and next to it there's the number 1. So you would read this at-tadrib al-awwal, right? The first tadrib. Now what is tadrib? Tadrib is an exercise or practice, right? First exercise. So this is actually like an activity that is meant for you to go through for the purpose of exercise or homework, okay? So you'll see this in a lot of textbooks, by the way. Any Arabic textbooks, most of them have like at-tadrib, right? The first tadrib, the second tadrib, right? And they go through these various exercises. So this is a brand new heading, right? This is not unzur wastami' wa'id, but this is actually many words. So I'm going to read the whole thing, and then I'll try to break it down, okay? استمع ثم ضع علامة الشك في المربع المناسب. Okay, so استمع, we can kind of guess, right? انظر واستمع, استمع, right? So this is somewhat familiar. It's from the same root. It's just a different form of the verb. Istami' is to listen. Okay, so istami' thumma. So now we have the word thumma, and we have not seen this either. But thumma is all over the Quran. Okay, so if you're reading this for the purpose of Quran, thumma is everywhere. So thumma is kind of an order word. Okay, and what I mean by this is like when you tell someone, hey, do this, thumma, do that. Okay, so do this and then do that. So it's something that indicates order, right? Something that follows something else, right? Istamar. So after you listen, then you need to do what's next. Okay, so that's what thumma is doing in this sentence. Da' alamat al-check. Okay, so we see this little check mark in parentheses here, and I'm sure you can kind of guess from the context clues what alamat al-check means. So da' means put, and alamat al-check is alama is like a sign or a mark, okay, and check is like a check mark. So alamat al-check is like a check mark. So what it's saying is listen and then put a check mark fil murabba'il munasib. Fil murabba'il munasib. I don't think we've taken fi. Okay, so this word here, fa, ya, fi is it's a preposition, and so if you don't know what preposition means, don't worry about it. It's just something that indicates that something is inside of something else. Okay, so the meaning of fi is inside, okay, or in. So for example, like you could say ana fi bayti, I am in my house, okay, or ana fil masjid, I am in the masjid, right, or something like that. Fi is very useful in that way. It means like in, like in, okay. Al-murabba' is a shape, okay. So I mean, it doesn't mean shape, it means like square, but a square is a shape, okay. So al-murabba is like this, right? Like these rectangles or squares I've been drawing. So and then al-munasib, might be familiar to some people. Al-munasib is appropriate, right? So all in all, let's clear this out. All in all, what this is saying is istami', listen, then put a check mark in the appropriate square. Okay, so what's supposed to happen in this exercise? You can see there's a lot of pictures and squares. Okay, so someone is supposed to read out the vocabulary, right? And I'm sure with the original textbook, there might have been some type of cassette or audio to do this for you, or the teacher's supposed to do this. Nonetheless, someone's supposed to read out the vocabulary, and you put out a check mark into the box that it's referring to. So for example here, this is al-mudarris, right? So someone says al-mudarris, and then you go, okay, check, we got al-mudarris, right? Or we got student, talib, okay, check. So that's how you do this exercise. So here we have another heading, and I think this is where we'll cap it off. At-tadrib, right? And then this is the number 2. So this is the second exercise. At-tadrib al-thani, right? So second exercise. And then we have Ashir ila surati allati tasma'u ismaha. So let's kind of break this down, because these are a lot of new words as well. So Ashir is similar to the word ishara. Ishara is something that may be more familiar to many people. Ashir means like point, right, or indicate, right? So point, ila, we kind of covered it. Ila means to, right, like to, right? So point to as-surah. So as-surah is a picture, or the picture. So in Urdu, for example, they use surat to talk about someone's face. Okay, so surah is a picture, kind of the same way. Okay, And then allati is kind of hard to translate. Allati is part of a family of words that mean basically like the one, right? So allati is feminine. Its counterpart is alladhi. So if you read the Quran, alladhi is everywhere, right? So alladhi is like the one masculine, allati is the feminine version. And because surah has this ta marbuta, it's feminine. Okay? So that's why you have this allati. So allati is kind of like the one. And then tasma'u is you hear. Okay? And then ismaha. Ha is an attached pronoun for the feminine. Okay, so this feminine, it's referring back to this. Okay, so because this surah is feminine, ismaha is feminine. So just one clarification here as well. So Arabic doesn't have the word it. Okay, every word has a gender. It's either masculine or it's feminine. There's no gender neutral stuff. Okay, so in English, when we talk about a guy, we say he. When we talk about girl, we say she. When we talk about something that has no gender, we would say something like it. Okay, but in Arabic, you would use huwa or hiya, or if you're using the attached pronoun, you use hu or ha. Okay, so really, it's ismaha means her name, but here it means its name because surah is not like a person. So that's how you would translate it. So let me clear this out. All in all, this means ashir ila surah, point to the picture, allati tasma'u ismaha, the one you hear its name. Okay, so point to the picture that you hear. Point to the picture, and I guess there should be like a comma or something, but point to the picture that you hear its name. Okay, so here someone's supposed to read the vocabulary, and then you indicate at the picture. So here you have ana. Okay, so someone says ana, and then you say, okay, I found the picture. Right? You say, let's see, like, what is this? Anti. Okay, you point to this picture. Right? So that's kind of what this title is saying. So if you have someone let them read out the vocabulary to you, and then point to the picture if you want to do this exercise. Now the last thing we'll do is we'll talk about this little thing on the bottom. So just kind of like a side note, you might have seen this alif up here, and then you have a ba down here, right? And this is kind of like in English when we have like bullet points, and we put like A, B, C, right? Point A, point B, point C. This is the same kind of deal. Alif, ba, if there's another one, it'd be ta. So it doesn't really mean anything. It's just kind of like a way to do some housekeeping on those bullet points. So here we have قُلْ اسْمَ السُّورَةِ الَّتِي يُشِيرُ إِلَيْهَا الْمُدَرِّسِ. So we have seen a lot of these words before. So this might be a little bit easier than the previous one. قُلْ, many people might recognize this, right? There's a lot of surahs that begin with قُلْ. Like قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ, قُلْ أُوحِيَ, right? All these different surahs start with قُلْ. What does قُلْ actually mean? قُلْ means say. Okay? So قُلْ here is it's like a command to say. Ism is name. Okay, so we know that word already. A surah, we just learned this. Surah is picture. So say ism surah, the name of the picture. Allati is the one. Yushiru ilayha al-mudarris. Now, yushiru might seem new, but it's kind of the same word as ashir. That is indicated. So he indicates. The ya is kind of we haven't done verbs or anything, but yushiru is something that stands for he points, right? So it's for the huwa version of the verb. So yushiru ilayha might seem like you haven't seen it either, but you've seen like ilaykum, right? So it's just ila and ha. So to and it, right? And al-mudarris is the teacher. So again, I'll make one last point here is that in English we would say the teacher points to it, okay? But here it says he points to it, the teacher, okay? So in terms of the order of the words, it seems different. But what you have to keep in mind is that the dhamma on a word makes it the doer of the action, okay? So dhamma is a doer. So no matter where al-mudarris shows up, if it's al-mudarrisu, the teacher is doing the action, okay? So it could be in the front, in the middle, in the back, whatever, but as long as the dhamma is there, that would mean that the teacher is doing the action. So with this, we'll conclude that this episode's gone on a bit long. Inshallah, if you want to do the practice, like I said, go ahead and do it. The next time we'll go into some more details about the different headings, and we'll get into some numbers as well. So stay tuned for that. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Be sure, if you liked the video, to hit a like, subscribe, and share if you have any friends who are interested in this type of stuff. And with that, assalamu alaikum.